Traderstation, what's happening, guys? Feeling a little sore throat action today, so sorry if my voice is a little raspy here, but I'll do my best to try to keep you guys entertained. So here I got the Aussie dollar, USD dollar. We're on the daily chart. We're pretty much gonna go down from there. I mean, there's no explaining like the higher time frames. I mean, we're pretty much just in annihilation mode here. Tight bear channels, you know, and the trend can go on for a lot longer than you think it could, you know. Over here, a lot of people were saying, oh my god, it's so oversold, yada 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 yada, and here we are going more down after that. So right here, there's so many people saying, oh my gosh, we're so oversold, and sure, we could bounce, but you know, that just because we're oversold doesn't mean we can't keep getting more oversold, you know. But we are approaching like this area. Definitely going to be a lot of buyers in here, and this is going to be a tough place for it to break out. Pretty much this whole area here, and we're at the top of it now. So all in here, you know, there's going to be buyers, and probably won't go straight down, but definitely some more down is certainly possible, despite how much we have been selling off. But anyways, let's go to the daily chart here, and you know, I really thought this was interesting in how it's been acting over the last week or so. We got this little double top action at the 50 at resistance. You know, it doesn't, there's support and resistance all over the chart. Whatever you use, it doesn't really matter. You know, there's support whether you see it or not. Like over here, like there's probably some type of moving average or some type of Bollinger Band, a pivot point, or up here there's probably some type of resistance. You know, who knows what it could be on tick charts, on the 30-minute chart. Like there's so many possible different support and resistance things, and all that matters is the things that you use and that you're most comfortable with. So I'm just showing you here, we're failing at resistance. You know, rather than saying double tops and this is a shooting star and this is an inverted hammer, like those names mean nothing to me because they don't explain what is happening with the price action. They don't explain what's going on. And to explain what's going on here, first of all, this is last month's low right here. But anyways, to explain what's going on here, price went up, it got rejected, price went up to the same spot again, and it got rejected. So when that happens twice, you know, just picture yourself as a bull. This is why they, you know, double tops and double bottoms, so to say, are called like reversal patterns. Because think if you're a bull in this case, right, and you're holding and you're like, oh, price rejected at one time, that's cool, whatever, this is like the first attempt to reverse the trend, I'm cool with that. Oh, price is going up again, we're gonna get it this time. No, it didn't. Why didn't it do it? Why was price rejected twice up there? So at this point, if you're a bull, you're saying to yourself, you know, maybe I should take some profits, yada yada yada, get out with a small loss depending on where you bought, or maybe you're holding, and then by this guy you can see bears definitely took control, and that's what eventually forced the bulls to give up. So I thought that was real interesting, and you know, at this point definitely two things can happen. I mean, we're at support, which is, you know, the moving averages. The moving averages act as resistance and support depending on what side you're on. So we are on top of both of these moving averages, therefore they should act as support. There's even two of them. So on the close of this bar, it's almost like, yeah, things can go either way, but because of the context of price being rejected twice here and then finding sellers below these bars, maybe the bears have an advantage even though we're at support. And what we can do is we can go down to lower time frames and just kind of analyze that price action. So at the close of this bar, the low is 0.7121. Okay, so let's go down to the 4-hour chart from the daily, and we can see on the close of this bar is the close of that daily bar. The low of this is 0.7121. So this is the low that you saw on the daily chart. And what do we have here? We have an uptrend, right? And here we are getting to support with that bar. So right here we're at support. You know, this is a price extreme that bulls will buy at, because they'll be buying very low here. At this point, the market's going to do one of two things. It's going to go up or it's going to go down, just like it does pretty much on every other bar. But at this point in particular, for me and what I look at, I think, you know, this is an important level. This is where dreams are made or broken, pretty much. You know, so we're gonna get a pause here, and then we're gonna decide which way we go. So we just kind of analyze the price action. Those bars aren't too remarkable. Okay, we're finding sellers on top of this bar, but still we're not closing below, you know, something important or anything like that. And we just kind of keep analyzing, and then bam, with that bar, we found again more sellers on top of this bar. You know, these moving averages are obviously resistance, but I really, the most important question you can ask yourself is what is happening on top of bars and what is happening below bars. And on top of these bars, we found sellers as evidence of this tail and not being able to close above these bars. And below these bars, we also found sellers, because as evidence of closing below these bars, closing on the low of the bar, and, you know, obviously creating no tail. So we found sellers on top of bars, sellers below bars. We're breaking out from an, you know, an important or at least a decent support level. We're breaking down from a support level. You know, our characteristics of a breakout are starting to show. We're just looking for follow through and gaps and consecutive bear bodies now, and we even have consecutive bear bodies over here. So that's kind of already in the making. And then bam, we get the follow through. Check out the bodies on these bars. They're getting larger. Increased selling pressure. At this point, you can look for measured moves. You know, I like to touch as many things as possible, and I don't want to get too greedy. You can put the 50% mark underneath here. You can do, you know, start from the tails. I like to be as conservative as possible. And that is exactly where we went to before we got a little bounce. And even if we wanted to, like, start it at the top, it looks like it's still gonna work. Even if we wanted to probably push it all the way down, put that 50% mark under this bar instead of under this, you can see it still works. I like to be as, you know, conservative as possible. But that's what I think happened there. You know, that's and on top of it, it's also a tight bear channel. So you know what I say about tight channels, you know, you should really only be going in the direction of the channel. Not like I want to tell you how to trade, but the only way that you're buying in here, you know, you're not buying here and then putting your stop underneath here. You know, if you do that, you're being a weak trader. If you want to buy there, you got to buy small and be prepared to scale in lower and scale in lower and scale in lower and wait, you know, for the bounce so you can get out with a profit, break even, small loss, small win, whatever. But as far as where we are going from here, we still have to be conscious that we have gaps here. Like, look at this big bar and we're getting gaps, but this wasn't the best follow through. But yet again, with this bar, we're closing below these bars. We are getting a follow through. But certainly the bulls are starting to show a little more presence. This is the biggest bounce we've had this whole time. And we are getting down near this swing low. So this is definitely a buying area. Now, you know, who's got the advantage here? You know, I'm not really sure. What I do see is that if let's look at that 4 hour again. This was last month's low, right? This yellow line. Well, we broke below it, and as we broke below last month's low this month, it acted as resistance, you know, a couple of times, a few times, and we went lower. And then we went up to it again, and it acted as resistance, and we went down 100 pips again. And then we finally broke through, and then it acted as support. Okay, it acted as support this time, and it went up. And then we went down, and we are breaking down through it. And as we get up to it, once again, it looks to be acting as resistance. So despite us being at a measured move, there's still reasons that this could go down further. And don't forget, we're in annihilation mode, and you know, this can go on for much longer than you deem possible. And a lot of times the middle of this is a good magnet, and that's still a good 300 pips down, like the middle of the range. Anyways, this video is probably going on for long enough. I hope you guys got a lot of helpful information out of that. I think this has been acting really cool in terms of a price action standpoint. And best trading to you guys, and until the next video, thanks for listening.